Okay, this is going to be a bit of a weird video since I mostly focused on gaming stuff, but I thought this was important enough for me to comment, I guess you could say. I just wanted to give my thoughts on Shoe0n's latest video about male loneliness and going on a bit point by point, kind of. Just the whole shebang that she talked about. But first and foremost, I really appreciate the fact that she did the video and that she keeps calling attention to male loneliness and the sorts of problem that we have to deal with. But first on the list, the thing that the news reporters said about the music taste, I mean, that's just funny to me, since my music taste never really meant anything in the way that I interact with people or how I feel lonely or not, or alienated. Just to clear some things up, I love metal, but I also love some chill lo-fi beats. I love the music that Shoe0n makes for Toho and his piano skills. Actually, I love piano in almost everything, since my favorite classical piece is In the Halls of the Mountain King. So any piano rendition, especially the dark piano rendition by Mew, just beautiful. So no, it's not about egregious lyrics in music that make men feel the way that they do. And I could consider myself a sort of functional hikikomori. Yes, it should be obvious since you're staring at an anime avatar that I have a big interest in Japanese entertainment and culture. Yeah, those videos of people staring at the camera, I don't really feel comfortable watching them. They don't make me feel less lonely. In fact, they make me feel creeped out. In terms of the whole modernization of society and social media and engagement, I have no fact on those things because I don't really engage in social media. I don't use Facebook or Meta, since that's how they want to call it now. Never used Twitter or X, as Elon Musk wants to name it now. This isn't scripted. That wasn't obvious enough, so I'm just going to go on tangents. So, social media. Because I don't interact with it, or online dating, it doesn't really affect my loneliness, my feelings of alienation, or anything else for that matter. I guess you could say it has a small, like, radiating effect, maybe, because since I am plugged to the internet, I can still see and read how those things affect people. So I kind of experience them tangentially, I guess you could say. But moving on. Next point that I wanted to talk about were the comments by those stupid, ignorant, completely they're just don't give them an inch. Anything. If they're stupid enough to just say stuff like just kill all men and not mean it as a joke. I mean, comments made by basically, they're not even embryos at this point, they're undifferentiated stem cells. If you want to talk about porn so much, there are a lot of tags in porn that are either about gangbangs, just general rape, and they disgust me actually. They make me feel actively uncomfortable, and in general, in real life, I also don't like non-consensual touching. And yes, I am a guy and I am saying this, I do feel uncomfortable when people suddenly grab my arms or my hands, or you know, those conventions with free hugs. I don't like non-consensual physical contact. Let's keep it at that. Fun fact, since she started talking about bootstrapping next, I like how people keep using the term bootstrapping and picking yourself up by your bootstraps, when that's the opposite of the meaning of the phrase. Because you are not meant to be able to do such a thing. If you could pick yourself up by your bootstraps, you would be able to just fly wherever you went. I mean, no, literally, just try it. Walk down. Just walk down at your shoes. Take your bootstrap, no, and just fling yourself. Were you able to fly in such a manner? No, it is physically impossible. And in a weird way, since I was discussing this one time at the gym with my trainer, this also applies to a common phrase that's also blood is thicker than water. The full phrase is, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. So it means that the bonds you forge will always be thicker than superficial familial bonds. That's the actual meaning of the phrase. But these are just a fun little tidbits I thought I'd mention. Another thing that I want to talk about was the whole relation to toxic masculinity, or toxic anything, ideologies, gender, what have you. Those... it means nothing. All of those mean nothing. I believe I suffer from some sort of chronic loneliness, but I guess that's expected since mental illnesses run in my family like nobody's business. But yeah, I do take medication and antidepressants, and femininity or masculinity, the ideals behind those, what people associate with being masculine or feminine, never affected me or how I feel alienated, isolated, or anything else. In fact, it was when people started wanting to make up a big fuss that in my teenage years I actually bothered to look that up and really try to see how I am about gender, and trying to identify as a gynosexual, and you can make all the jokes about gynecology here. But no, I am cis. I am straight. I'm a straight male. And no, being a straight male didn't automatically make me into a depressed bean. The invalidation of problems and how people feel no matter... people keep throwing around the phrase that just because we care about men doesn't mean we should not care about women. Well, no shit. It's obvious. It's not a matter of gender, biological, sex, or anything. It's just... it's circumstantial. No matter who you're talking to, I think those people still have their own problems. And it doesn't matter if someone out there in the world could be in a worse position. That doesn't invalidate how you, the person specifically, feels. You will always have troubles, you will always have problems, and it doesn't invalidate how you feel and how you have to deal with those. Just because someone else is feeling worse, you still have the right to bitch and moan. No one can take that away from you. Stop making it about either gender or anything, it's just universal. The last thing that I wanted to mention was Andrew Tate. No, I don't care what he says or anyone says about him. I seriously don't give a rat's ass about Andrew Tate. Everything that he talks about comes to me as a joke, and I'm just going to say it right now. If his ideals help you deal with stuff, just good on you, as long as you don't affect other people because of those, and as long as you don't force those opinions on other people. That's really it. It's more of a question for those that wish to talk about it, because I seriously don't understand. The whole USA thing with making everything either left or right, you know, it seriously pisses me off when they just... it's always, how can the left help? How can the right... This is mental issues. These are things that should be discussed with a psychologist, a psychiatrist, what have you. This isn't about political ideology. And every time I see a problem or commentary or anything from the US side of things, it's always the stupid left versus right deal. I just wish they could discuss problems at their roots, at their true nature, without involving some sort of political agenda on who is right and wrong and who is trying to push what. Because it means nothing and it leads nowhere. In fact, you're just appropriating something else and try to make it about you. Because you're trying to push your political ideals through other issues. And it's disgusting. It's repulsive. If you want to talk about these issues, just throw the whole right and left thing out the window. And just talk about them as they are. That's my request anyway. Well, this was a bit of a weird and scripted rant, but I wanted to make it just so I could put my thoughts out there. And not only am I affected by them, but I have a lot of friends who feel the same way. A lot of others just feel lost. And they feel that they have the weight of the world on their shoulders, and that they have nobody to talk to, either because they're conditioned to believe that they don't, or simply because nobody will listen to them, because it's been slowly expected that people are meant to, again, pick themselves up by their bootstraps. And I'm kind of tired of it. You can seek help when you want to, no matter what you are, how you are, when you are. If you're an eldritch horror being that feels a little bit under the weather, no, you should honestly think and discuss these things, and only through introspection can you truly come to a conclusion on how you can help yourself. You need to actually reflect on your own troubles, and if you can't do it alone, do it with someone else. Go back and forth, and maybe something will come out of it. The only thing that I know is that if you do nothing, nothing happens. But if you always try something, no matter how little it is, something can be created. And yeah, I'm going to stop it here. Okay? I don't know if I'm going to edit this or just upload it as is, but I'll try and make sense of how I'm going to finish this. So, thanks for listening if you decide to do so. You are appreciated.